What's up, guys? Man, Washougal was gnarly. So many dudes were beat down and tired. And I want to talk about Chase Sexton and how badass he is. He did an extra lap. His trainer is talking about steroids. What? Come on, man. And then Hunter, I'm going to break down kind of what's going on with him. And he doesn't feel well. And he's going to get some tests to see if he can figure this thing out. And that battle for the podium is heating up. Plessinger, Jay Coop, Anderson, Hunter, they all know their spots up for grabs, especially with Hunter not feeling well. He's not locked into that second place. These guys get big bonuses and big credit for that podium. Remember, guys, subscribe to the channel. Yes, people keep getting unsubscribed. Just check the comments if you don't believe me. And if you do get unsubscribed, just write it in the comments. I'm currently petitioning YouTube to see if they can do something. And they said if enough people complain, they'll try and do something. And I am leveling this thing up. I want to do more, produce more content, eventually add more people to the channel. I really want to go to that next level. Instead of bringing in more sponsors, I thought, let's do members, $2.99 a month. Thank you to the people who've already signed up. I want to break the bro system of media in this sport, tell you guys not what they want you to hear, but what's going on. But without further ado, let's get into this.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So Chase Sexton, let's not forget, he won Southwick second moto when Jet was still in the field, but he looks like a different guy. He's got that quiet confidence. He knows no matter where he's at in those first few laps, just settle in, find a rhythm, and go to work. And by the end, he'll be way out front. And that's just what he does. He knows that's going to happen, and he just continually does it. Like, he owns these guys. They are his bitches right now. What's fun to watch about Chase is he's got that determination, that I want to win as bad as I want to breathe attitude. But now without Jet there, he's able to kind of settle down that 1 or 2%. And really, he's actually probably putting in faster overall motos than he was when Jet was out there, but he had different concerns. It's like a lot like the Tour de France when, guys change the pack speed. Without Jet there changing the pace speed, he can do it the way he wants to. He doesn't have to go when Jet goes, and it's making him way more dominant, and he's not making mistakes. I mean, that's a lot of motos in a row for Chase Sexton. He looks good and strong, and a lot of these guys don't look strong right now. In fact, he was so strong he did an extra lap. He was not happy about having to do that extra lap. He said he didn't get the white or the checker or the 2-lap board. If you watch the video, the white's out and they throw the checker at the last minute, but he definitely got a checkered flag. But good on him for just not risking it, doing the extra lap, showing that he can, but he wasn't pleased with it. Flagging, this has got to be the worst year for flagging in the history of the sport. There's a dude up on the top waving the Red Cross flag as the blue flag. Like, oh my gosh, are you serious? And I don't want to blame these flaggers because they're temporary employees. They come in for 1 or 2 races and then they're out, and you expect to get high quality flaggers. When have you ever done a job randomly and been very, very good at it? You just don't. You can't pull someone off the street. You don't get an eye for what to watch for if you're not doing it week in and week out. And we need lights, and we need a regular flagging crew. With that said, sometimes mistakes happen. Listen, you can have the best flagging crew in the world, and sometimes guys will miss a checkered flag or something. I'm not saying mistakes won't happen. Way too often. And now, this is a couple months old, but it just got brought to my attention again. Chase Sexton's trainer, Peter Park, went on Gypsy Tales, and
Chase, of course. Chase is the new breed. I mean, he's strong as an ox, and it's not because of me, really. If he water skis, he's going to get big. He's just holding on to. Yeah. He's just big naturally, and it's not like I'm doing a program that's getting him big. Like when he was doing great in the outdoors against Tom, I got all these DMs like, oh, you got him on Lance's program, he's taking steroids. Last thing Chase needs is steroids. Never. He would get so big it wouldn't even be.
He did some stuff that was rather alarming to me. Baseball players were on steroids. They always said, well, how would steroids help you hit a round ball with a bat at 90 miles an hour? Well, duh. It takes those warning track hits and makes them home runs. It gives you faster reflexes, so you have more time to watch the ball. Of course it helps. We're not in the 1980s anymore. You don't have to take steroids to get big. There's different types of steroids. There's EPO. There's all types of stuff out there. So for him to say the reason Chase isn't on steroids is because he'd get too big, that just makes him look guilty. I don't like that. And if I'm Chase, I'm pretty pissed that he's even talking about it. Because whether Chase is doing anything or not, He looks guilty. When your trainer says, oh, yeah, he could never do it because he looks big. Did steroids make Lance Armstrong look big? Did they make Floyd Landis look big? Like I said, that's an old school stupid argument that really makes people look guilty. And if I'm Chase Sexton, I'm pretty pissed at Peter Park for even doing that. I'm not naive enough to think that these guys are all on just vitamins and water. Listen, there is some performance enhancing drugs being used throughout the sport. What they are, yeah, I got some good guesses, but I'm not going to make any accusations. The schedule we ask these guys to run is superhuman. I don't care. I really don't care. And I don't want to accuse anyone. But just don't have your trainer going out there using excuses that make you look guilty. That's stupid, that's ignorant, and if your trainer actually thinks that way, he might not be very educated. You might want to get a new trainer. Speaking of trainers, check out the Coach Rob Show. Coach is one of the smartest people I've ever talked to. Him and Toolman Dan have a show dedicated to helping vet racers, older racers who are still trying to live the dream and have some fun, but they also have jobs. Check that out. Coach Rob podcast or Coach Rob on YouTube. Him and Toolman Dan are awesome. Epic Garage Designs. Travis Ogburn has some of the coolest stuff you'll ever put in your garage, between flooring, cabinets. He's a moto enthusiast. Check out that website. There's slat wall. There's a July special, 2 tall cabinets, 80 by 81, $27.50 shipped to your house. So Hunter Lawrence is a guy who typically is strong at the end of motos. This is his first year as a full 450 rider. I know he's far from a rookie, but this is the first year where he's doing 17 Supercross rounds followed by all the outdoors. Every other year that he's been in America, he did half of them in the 250 class, and he had plenty of time to rest and get breaks before the outdoors. That might be the problem, but something's definitely going on with Hunter. You know it's not hard work, but at some point these guys' bodies can't process the work that they do. And when I talk to Coach Rob this week, and I will have him on this week, we're going to talk about what that does to the body and what these guys should do to recover and how they watch for these chronic fatigue type things that are rampant in this sport. When you travel, fatigue yourself. But Hunter's going to get some blood work, and hopefully he can get this thing figured out and be dialed in. As far as this championship outdoors, it's pretty much over. I mean, unless Sexton has something catastrophic, this championship is his. So now Hunter just needs to get right and see if he can win SMX or Super Duper. And I know I said I wouldn't call it Super Duper anymore because I think it's such a great series. Sorry guys, I fell off the wagon. I can't help it. It's the dumbest name in the world, Super Motocross. So yeah, I'm going to call it Super Duper again just because I can't bring myself to say such a dumb name for such a great series. Aaron Plessinger is truly a man of the people. The longer this guy can get up on podiums and be in the mix is better for the sport. This dude has figured out that if you steer into your natural personality and you don't become the robot that, you know, the PR guys on these teams try to make you into, it's so much better. People love authenticity. They want to know if you are who you are. They want to know what your personality is. They want to know what about you is like them. They don't want to know that you're just a robot that just trains and rides and then speaks in sponsor logos. They don't want that. We don't want that. And Aaron has figured that out, and he can sell far more products than any of those robots, and he's way more popular. And as long as he's good, he will be good for the sport. And it was nice to see him slamming a beer on the cool down lap of the second moto. What a badass. So Jason Anderson got on the podium, and I'll tell you what, he still has no love for Hunter Lawrence, and every chance he gets, he slices his front tire off. El Hombre holds a grudge for a long time, and it's got to be frustrating to both the Lawrence brothers having him out there constantly in the mix, especially now for podiums. And while he's not a serious threat to win outdoors like he is in Supercross, he does not relish the outdoors, but he's making it work. And for him to get on the podiums, that's more than enough. That's more than enough for what Kawasaki expects of him. He is a Supercross specialist, a former Supercross champion, and I really hope he can maintain where he's at and get this base fitness heading into Super Duper. If he can be that close when they enter the Super Duper, I think Jason has a really good shot at winning that thing, especially with that point system, that single, double, triple. It's going to be pretty wide open, especially with Jet coming off an injury, with Sexton and his propensity to make mistakes. That 450 championship will be wide open. If I was Hunter, I would just call up El Hombre privately and say, let's grab a beer. I wouldn't do it through your agents. I wouldn't do it through Twitter. I wouldn't go buy his merch. I would sit with him man to man and say, bro, what do we got to do to make this to where we just race normal, where you don't have it out for me? That's how El Hombre's old school. You sit him down, shake his hand, look him in the eye. He's the type of guy that will be like, cool, and he'll get respect for you, and he'll race you like he does everybody else, and he won't be out to get you. That's what Hunter needs to do. And I wouldn't go with Hunter and Jet, because you don't want to seem like you're teaming up on him. I would just send Hunter. Later on, if Jet wants to do that same thing, if it's successful for Hunter. But I think if Hunter does it, he'll lay off both Lawrence brothers. Need some goggles? Need some goggles from a company that truly supports motocross, tracks, and everything good about the sport? Hit up Ride Strapped. They definitely won't sue your local track. This is a company that has cool shirts, and they support me a lot, and I really appreciate them. So check out ridestrap.com. If you're shipping anything and you want to support a trucking company that helps the motocross community, hit up pretransport.com. They've helped out Club MX and some other people, and everyone who's used them has come back raving about their customer service, their tracking, and their pricing. So hit up pretransport.com. So Justin Cooper, man, I thought for sure at Washougal he would be on the podium, and I thought there was an outside chance he could actually win this thing if something happened to Sexton. Obviously, winning is dependent on Sexton having an issue, because I don't think J. Coop could beat him outright, but I felt like J. Coop could beat everybody else. He had a big crash on a blind section and couldn't get to his bike, and that really cost him. He had third in the other moto. J. Coop is proving he is a top 450 guy. There's still some questions on whether Star Yamaha has enough money to re-sign him. It has something to do with a podium bonus. I don't know. Just sign the kid. Just sign him and move forward. He's proven that he can be a guy. He's good at Supercross. He's good at outdoors. And he's consistently there. He's the only guy that's been there all year. Sign him, Star Yamaha, please. We had some Dylan Ferrandis sightings at Washougal, but I mean, this is a long ways from the guy who won the championship a few years ago. It's disappointing. He told us that he liked this Honda better than his factory Yamaha, so we expected better results. If you look at it from afar, a privateer team on a Honda in its first year outdoors, it's actually really good results. The problem is the expectations that were set coming in. We were expecting him to be better than he was last year, and I believe he finished up second overall in the series, so there's not much room to go up after that. But if you actually look at it the way we should, as him on a privateer team, which is their first time going outdoors with a rider of this level in the 450 class, yeah, they're doing pretty good. All right, guys, that's it for now. I'm bringing on Coach Rob. We're going to do an interview. I want to talk to him about fatigue and a lot of the other issues going on, but I'll be putting that up this week. Loretta's coverage coming up. It's 2 weeks off from the Nationals, but it's some of the most exciting off-season news. We usually get it around this time. A lot of interesting stuff drops, and I love covering Loretta's, so I'll be covering that as much as possible. Thanks, guys. Remember, those memberships help me, and I really appreciate it. So thanks, guys.